Do you feel like you have lots of skill set, but you don't know which one to actually monetize? Now, this was me a few years ago when I was trying to figure out which of my skill set should I monetize. And I can tell you for free that this is very important. The fact that we have multiple skills does not mean that all of those skill set need to see daylight because not every skill set commands the same amount of money. So it's very important that we determine the actual skill set to monetize. Now, by the end of this video, you will be more confident on the actual skill set that you should be monetizing this year. Now, when it comes to monetizing skills, the first thing I want you to do is I want you to list out every skill set you can think of. Some of the skills that you acquired through experience, some of the skills that you acquired through knowledge, and some of the skill set that you just acquired from life, okay? I want you to list everything down because it is important. Even those skill set that you overlook. One of the skills that I used to overlook for a very long time was actually my skill of teaching. I am extremely good at teaching. But back in the day, it used to sound like I was just very good at talking, right? So I never really took a big deal to this skill because I just felt like, girl, you just like to talk. You like to talk, you like the sound of your voice. You like to give advice, whether it's solicited or not, right? So I didn't even really know that I could actually build on my speaking skills until I actually wrote down all of my skills. And I figured out that one common factor was my ability to speak, my ability to teach, my ability to make people understand even complex things. I just know how to explain things to people. I know how to make people get it, right? And so I don't want you to be like me, where you kind of like overlook one particular skill set. And meanwhile, that skill set is that money making skill, right? So please take out that time, list out every skill that you can think about. Okay. It's important. Whether they are hard skill sets, whether they are soft skill set, list it out. I have seen people teach a zillion things, like things that in my world, I'm like, really? People are doing that? So honestly, there is nothing that you can't monetize, but you have to figure it out first, right? So you have to know that I actually even have the skill set and then figure out whether that skill set is actually what monetizing. Now, your second step will then be for you to look at that skill set and ask yourself this question: which of the skill set that I've listed can help people solve a problem? Because one of the things you have to realize quickly when it comes to monetizing your skills is you have to solve a problem. You have to solve a problem for someone, right? Now, for me, you're watching my video, I am talking, I'm using one of my core skills, but I'm using that core skill to solve a problem for you. I'm helping you understand the importance of the skill set that you have and helping you convert that skill into money. Because at the end of the day, I know that you desire financial freedom. I know that you're looking for one of the easiest way to be able to make this money, something that seems natural to you. And I know from experience that monetizing skill sets that we're familiar with, monetizing skill sets that we're very good at, is second nature to us. And even though there's work required to be done, it's easier for us to just kind of jump right into it and begin to learn the ropes. And then we can begin to, monetize that skill, right? So you want to ensure that whatever skill that you are choosing is a skill that can solve a problem for people. Now, let me give you a basic example. When I realized that one of my core skills was speaking, one of the mistakes I made was I didn't think of solving a problem for people. I just picked the skill of speaking and I ran with it. And I remember very well in 2020, when I launched my very first YouTube video, or rather when I launched my very first YouTube channel, I used to talk about random things, right? I talk about self-development. I just talk about different things every day. And even though right? There are other channels that probably talk about random things and they're still a huge success. I think one of the things that I realized was my topics were not actually solving a problem to people, right? And I was not popular. I'm still not popular, by the way. But hey, at the time, I was very new to this stuff. I didn't even have any skill set at all. I didn't have a nice camera. I didn't even know how to, I didn't understand this whole YouTube game, right? So my videos were poor quality. And then on top of that, you were just talking about random things that were not solving a problem to people. And so it was a huge failure, right? But as I began to go deeper into understanding, I realized that even though you have a core skill of speaking, you've got to use that to solve a problem for people. And that was how I launched my second channel, which is this channel. And I started talking about all things agile because now I was using my core skill of speaking to solve a problem. I was helping new Scrum Masters, aspiring Scrum Masters learn all things agile so they could land themselves a six-figure job and be successful in that job. You see how I connected my skill set to solving a problem, right? That's what I want you to pay attention to in this stage, right? Pick that skill and then ask yourself that question. What problem am I solving? Or what problem can I solve with this skill? Because that's what people care about. People don't care about you. I'm sorry to say, they don't. They care about what you're solving for them, right? And if you think about why you watch videos or why you buy certain things, it's what that thing's going to do for you. Not necessarily because you like that store or you like that brand. It's, what does that do for me, right? People buy luxury stuffs because, hey, they want to associate themselves with luxury. They want to feel good. They want people to respect them. They want people to have a certain perception about them, right? That's why they're buying all these luxury things. They don't necessarily care about those luxury brands, but they care about what those luxury brands will do to their own personal brand. So that's how I want you to think when you're deciding the particular skill set that you want to choose. Okay. Now, your step 3 will be to validate your demand. Now, this skill set, you figure out that there's a problem you want to solve. You have to go out there and validate whether there's actual demand for it. One of the things that I quickly did was to start talking about Agile on YouTube. That was my own way of validating the fact I wanted to teach people, all things Agile. I went on YouTube and I started to create videos to validate the need. I started to see people respond, to my videos. People were asking me questions. And I knew that, yes, girl, you can sell a course. You can sell a mentorship program. You could do so many things because there is high demand for this skill set. And there is a problem you're trying to solve with that skill. So figure out what's my skill set? What problem am I trying to solve? And then go out there and try to solve that problem for the next person that you find. That's how you test your demand. Because I don't want you to go, full scale where you go launch a business, do everything, build a website, do all of those operational work without your first client or without a prospect where you feel like, oh, there is light in this area and I can go this route. You don't want to make that mistake because at the end of the day, it's not registering the business that makes the business. It's not building a website that makes the business, right? It's knowing how to get those clients, actually getting that clients, providing that product, providing and offering that service is what makes you have a business. So that's what you want to validate, whether there's an actual demand for it. And once there's a demand for it, then you're going to go even further in that direction. All right. Another thing I like to quickly state, even before I move away from this step, is the fact that you could also spend a lot of time researching, right? If they're already paying people for that particular skill set, if you're paying people for that product, that service, whatever it is you're trying to offer, then you can know that there's a bit of demand. Then you want to figure out how big is that demand, and doing, Google research, trying to understand, your environment can help you actually answer that question. But it's very important that you actually validate the demand because at the end of the day, you will be frustrated. I started a business that I didn't test the demand. It was the fact that there was a small puddle of demand around me that made me run with that idea. But then I realized that even though there is a demand, I didn't have a lot of people that had that huge demand. So for the kind of life I wanted to live, that business was not going to fund it. So at the end of the day, it was a waste of time. And I had to, cut that off and just move on to something else. So I want you to make sure that you validate that there's an actual market that can satisfy your lifestyle, your dream life. Like I always say, we don't do business for the sake of doing business. Many of us want financial freedom, right? For various reasons. And if your business is not going to provide you that life, why would you even start it? Because running a business can be somewhat stressful, right? I know the kind of stress I'm going through right now that I don't want to talk about. I'll probably talk about it in another video, but honestly, businesses can be stressful. They can be. There's so many paths to business. But don't worry, you got your best friend here who's going to walk you through the entire process. And so you don't have to go through some of the stress that I've gone through. And that's why I'm making this video so that you know exactly what you need to do part-time. But make sure you validate that idea. All right. Okay. Now let's move on to step 4. Now, something else you want to figure out is even though you've tested, your market, you validated your skill, it's very important that you also assess yourself. What is your skill level when it comes to whatever it is you're trying to monetize? Are you a beginner? Are you an intermediate? Are you advanced in the skill? Because that really matters, right? And I'm not saying this, to discourage you if you feel like you're at the beginner stage. If you're at the beginner stage of, whatever skill you're trying to monetize, then you have to figure out how do I want to position myself. So maybe to attract those that don't even have a clue about what I'm trying to talk about. But it's very important because if you don't know so much about a thing, you have to work extra hard to always be ahead of those that you're trying to bring into that area, because you have to know more than they know. You have to be able to know how to solve their problem, because the minute they figure out that you can solve their problem, they will go find the next person who can solve their problem. So it's very important that you assess your level. And if you have more work to do, then go ahead and do more work, right? It's important. Business, our career, it's like a never ending game. We always have to read, we always have to study, we have to get more knowledge at all times. But assessing yourself and knowing exactly where you are also helps you figure out how much work you also have to do. Now, something else that's very important still in this stage is you have to figure out, like, how passionate am I about this skill that I want to monetize? Because, girl, if you're not passionate, even if there is money to be made in the skill set, you may not make that money, because at the end of the day, you still need to work hard. You still need to put in the time. And those times might not be fun. Creating courses, even creating videos can be so stressful at times that the only thing that motivates me to create a video is I get my makeup done in the morning, because once my makeup is done, then I'm not going to waste it. I've got to make a video. But even getting to that step can be very stressful. Having to talk about it, having to build connections, build community, and be consistent can be stressful in itself. And if you're not passionate about it, guess what? You will fall by the wayside and it will be like a wasted time. So I want you to make sure that in whatever skill set that you're picking, make sure that it's something that you're also very passionate about, because that's what will keep you going even when the going does not look good, okay? So make sure you don't drop your passion. There's so many things that you love, but pick the ones that you love the most and you know that there's a demand for it, okay? So that way, those two can work together for your good, all right? Okay, now let's keep it moving. Now, another thing you want to do is you have to test the market, okay? Now, this is very important because sometimes you have people, they've done all of the steps and they're just waiting for what exactly? You have to test the market. Offer even if it's a free service, even though whether people are even interested in the free service, offer something that's very low cost, just because you're trying to understand what it is you're trying to sell. And I'll speak back to myself. When I launched my agile business, one of the things that I did was I used to offer 15 minutes conversations for people who wanted to, talk and have a more personalized, or what would I call it? People that wanted to have, questions, their questions answered. I used to, have that 15-minute time where we will get on a Zoom call. I would answer all of your questions. And it was very, very good, because I also realized that people needed that one-on-one, because even though I used to come up with the topics for my YouTube channel, and I could assume because I could wear their shoes, there are still some things that people would ask me that I never thought about. So having those one-on-one sessions for 15 minutes really also opened my eyes to what people really needed. And it also kind of helps me to prepare my coaching program. So it's very important that all time is not wasted. Don't just go with the motion that, hey, I want to go make money right away. Find a way to ease yourself into the market. And once you realize that there's a demand for your skill, and you've tested it and people have kind of like responded to you, then you can go all out and you can decide to do whatever it is you want to do when it comes to your pricing, since you now better understand the market, you know what the need is and all of that. But it's important for you to test, because every idea is great until it is tested. Every skill sounds wonderful on paper until it is tested. So you want to test out that skill set to ensure and be certain that this is my money making skill. Also, when it comes to testing, not everything actually has to be free. And I think it's important for me to state it, because for me, as I monetize my other skill set, it's not every skill that's going to be free for me, right? And that's because I've become a bit more experienced in this monetization of a thing. And so I know exactly when I should give something free and when I shouldn't give things free. So depending on the kind of skill you're trying to launch, not everything has to be free, but you have to figure out like what is that entry level that I can make extremely low that will make people test my actually skills so I can also validate that this is the direction that I want to go. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. And like I always say, that I know that even though we want financial freedom, even though we have skill sets that we're trying to monetize, many times we need that roadmap. We need somebody to hold us. We need that coach by our side who's been there, who's done that. And if you're looking for that person who should hold your hand, who can hold your hand, who can guide you as you turn your own skill set into financial freedom, then I want you to reach out to me because I am that coach. I'm on a mission to help as many people as possible gain financial freedom, as I'm also on my own path to gaining financial freedom, and I'm monetizing everything that is monetizable about my life. And I also want you to be able to expose yourself and understand that there's money all around us. We just have to open our eyes to see it and get to work. So if you need help, if you need that extra push, if you need that one-on-one guidance, if you need that roadmap, then reach out to me, send me a message, drop a comment, and I will respond and be right there with you. Now, one thing I want you to do, even in this video, is I want you to drop 3 skills that you believe you're extremely good at and you are considering monetizing. I want you to go ahead and drop it in the comments, as I cannot wait to read all of your comments, and I'll catch you in my next video. Thank you so much for spending this wonderful time with me. And if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to share with your amazing community. Thank you very much, and I'll see you later. Bye.